Alrighty then, let's get the old MCM5 unboxed. Here it is. And that's the other side of the box. Cable, charger, the wheel itself. Woo! That's a very shiny looking machine, isn't it? We got the ACM foot plates, I can see straight away. We got a carbon fibre finish to it. Looks pretty robust. Doesn't look like it's going to get scratched very easily at all, so that's quite good. The only area it could possibly get scratched is this glossy plastic cover over the top that spans all the way around it. But you got power button, charger, USB port, light, and stickers, which seem to be peeling off, which is not a great start from the sticker front. Behind that is just a big sticky pad. Oh, let's boot it up, shall we? Oh, so you got lights that run across the top here. 800 watt hours, 1500 watt motor. So packs a bit of a punch, but it looks pretty nice. Very, very compact. Trolley handle on the side. Looks a business. (40 to 50 psi), 14 by 2.125. Just going to head out now on the MCM5 and do the distance test and see how it handles on the road, off-road, see what it's like and give the verdict. Well, I'm out in the forest. I set off, I've done about a mile now, but I've come out, immediately headed down a hill, essentially, when the battery was on 100%. Now, with the battery on 100%, of course, going downhill adds regeneration straight back into the battery pack. Now, what some wheels do is they shut off at this, and it's a very unique scenario where you're at 100%, you don't consume any power, and you head off straight down a hill, and a steep hill at that. So it's actually putting power back in. With this, what it does is it beeps at you and it tilts back, so it slows you down until you have to almost stop. And you just wait a little while or ride around in a circle, and then you can carry on because you used a bit of the power up. So that's quite neat, a nice little safety feature there just to cover off that eventuality. So pretty rare, but possible and plausible. So anyway, I'm a mile in, and the first impressions of it does not feel like a 14-inch wheel at all. And the 1500 motor is watt hour. 1500 watt motor, should I say, is very powerful. You know, it doesn't feel lacking any way, shape or form, and it feels more like a 16-inch wheel, to be fair. So good so far. Well, I am now on the beep. I can still go about 8 miles an hour without the beep, and as soon as I push forward more than that, I'm on the beep. So it's sort of 15-20%. I've done 13.5 miles ish. So we're going to keep pushing it until it's just beeping constantly, even when stood still, and then see what the mileage is. As you can see with the overlays, I've got 15.5 miles, and it's not even when I'm stood still now, it's not beeping constantly, but I don't want to get stranded out away from home. Now, seeing as this is rocking on into winter now, in summer you can expect more miles than that, and I reckon with where I am now I could do about another 2 miles, so that brings it up to 17 miles, just over 17.5. So summer you should be able to get 20 miles an hour, maybe a bit more if you went slower. This is an average speed of about 15 miles an hour, which is clocking it really, and it's a mixture of off-road and on-road and fairly hilly. So I would have thought 20 upwards for a lighter rider, definitely, without question. So 20 in summer, 15 easily in winter. That's the range test done, and a brief summary now of how I found the wheel. It is incredibly powerful. Now you got to remember, this is a 1500 watt motor in a 14-inch wheel. Now the average is usually about a 16-inch wheel. It's kind of the starter wheels that most people go with. The most common is 16-inch. So this is a small wheel that packs a punch. Now I've said previously that it's like a 16-inch wheel in diameter, the way it actually rides and feels, and that's probably down to the power of the motor. 1500 watts is crazy. So put it in context, the 9 watt, I'm not sure you can see it there, but the 9 watt one that's hanging on the wall, that's a 500 watt motor. So 1500 watt, and that's a 16-inch wheel, this is a 14. Incredibly compact design and really solid because it's so small, it feels really, really well built. The trolley handle is built into the side here. That is genius, really. It's quite sharp. It's almost like a knife, that. It's always worthwhile keeping that in mind. So to keep this shape and keep it compact, it's not a flat top handle. It actually comes on an angle. It hasn't caused me any issues at all, but I rarely use trolley handles. The only thing, I suppose, start with a negative, because it's the only real negative I can think about this wheel, and all it is the stickers on the side here. They just keep peeling off, and there's nothing you can do to stick them back on. So really, they kind of need to do something about that. Not even bother putting them on would be my suggestion, and maybe just have the emblem there without the sticker on. Linked with that is where these stickers are on, it actually really hurts your ankle when you're riding it. It takes a lot of conditioning, as all these wheels do when you change from one wheel to another, to actually get used to that. It's quite painful to start with. It's actually where my foot and my size is exactly on my ankle bone. So you're riding around and actually got a sore foot from it, or a sore ankle. So that's the only thing I would suggest. Maybe put a bit of padding on there, take the logo off and cut a strip of padding on there just to make it a bit softer. And that really is the only negatives I've got about it. The actual ride is just incredible. The wheel is nice and silent. It's got inbuilt fan to try and keep it cool. It's also got vents on the side here. And an interesting thing with this, it's got a very slight gap around the whole shell, so it stands proud slightly. So this wheel should stay cool when it's running. And we've pushed it real fast, ridden it slow, very, very maneuverable. So in comparison to a 16-inch wheel, because it's that little bit smaller, it's just absolutely amazing to move around. Mario had a quick go on it from the KS16S. He dropped back onto the 14-inch and found that actually, once he got used to it, it was a lot more nimble. So you actually stand on it and twist left and right a lot quicker than a 16-inch wheel. So if you're looking for something to filter through traffic or people, this is going to give you the range as well with 800 watt hours of battery power. It's a significant range for a small wheel and a huge amount of power for a small wheel. So it actually hits, it's almost a bit like an unsung hero really in wheels, because it's small, compact, fairly light, and will go a long distance at speed. So yeah, for a city wheel, I would say is absolutely brilliant. Now the off-road, of course, makes an impact. The smaller the wheel, the harder it's going to be to ride off-road, so it doesn't take the bumps so well. I found actually at road, it did feel like a 16-inch wheel off-road. So yeah, I would say city riding, absolutely brilliant. As you can see, we did take it off-road. You've seen the footage, absolutely slammed it off-road, and it was absolutely fine. But you can always sort of benchmark it on how easy it is to ride. Now a 14-inch wheel is never going to be as easy as an 18, 22-inch wheel like the Monsters. You can ride those off-road and you hardly feel any of the bumps. But the Monster is just huge. You can't carry it around. It's no good in the city really. So this, I would suggest for pretty much anyone riding in the city, it's going to meet all your needs. Unless you're doing more than its upper range. And of course you need to increase the size to increase the battery. But 800 watt hour battery is a significant battery, and approximately 20 miles is a decent range. Most people are doing sort of 3-4 miles to work and 3 or 4 miles back, so this is going to do it easily. The LEDs are a nice touch, and you've obviously got the front light, you've got USB port if you want to charge your phone. We notice when we're riding wheels without that, well, I certainly do, that you can't charge kit out and about unless you bring a battery bank with you, and so having that is a neat little feature. So I found the whole thing a really, really good experience. It's got the ACM footplates, which are now on a lot of things. So they're nice and big and wide footplates, very, very grippy in the wet, wasn't slipping off it at all. The other neat little feature with it is underneath here is actually a pressure switch. So you can have it on and pick it up and it doesn't spin out. I'll try and demonstrate that now for you. So I boot it up. So that's now running. If I press the button, I'll just pick it up, I don't need to press a button. I'll just pick it up and it automatically presses the button because it's directly underneath the handle. Then it restabilizes again. So no need to shut this off. If you're lifting it to and from places, you can have it on. So if you're going up steps, you can just carry up the steps without even thinking about it, plonk it back down, you're ready to go again. Neat little feature. It's a thumbs up really for me. And of course we're going to keep riding this now for the 250, the 650 and 1,000 kilometer marks. City dweller, highly recommend it for you.